So yesterday we had a shooting at UCLA. We happen to do the show out of Los Angeles, and that's fairly close to where I live. In fact, I heard sirens all morning as ambulances, cops, bomb squads flooded the area. 2 people were killed, including the gunman. He actually, it turns out, unfortunately, we found out today, also killed someone else. This was in Minnesota. So he obviously had mental issues and first went after, actually we thought he first went after William Klug, who was a professor that he shot and killed at UCLA. But earlier he had gone after a woman that we believe was linked with. His name is Mainak Sarkar, and he'd killed a woman on his quote-unquote kill list in Minnesota. So I'm going to tell you how he got his guns in a second and how he did that. But let me give you a little bit of context into this. So now 3 people are dead overall, including the gunman. He also had, by the way, another professor on his kill list. Luckily, that professor was not on campus that day and survived. But speaking of campus, let me give you this stunning fact. Wednesday's shooting at UCLA marks the 186th shooting on a school campus in the United States since more than 24 people were killed, including 20 children, during the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut in 2012, according to the data collected by gun control advocacy group Everytown for Gun Safety. Isn't that amazing? Sandy Hook was not that long ago. You all remember it, right? All those poor kids murdered there. There's been 186 shootings. Not like, hey, 186 shootings in the whole country. 186 shootings on a school campus since Sandy Hook. The whole country's the wild, wild west. The whole country is the shootout at the OK Corral. So we've got guns everywhere, and conservatives make absurd, insane arguments like, oh yeah, well, the UCLA is a gun-free zone. What happened now? There's no invisible force field around the school or around our gun-free zone that automatically keeps guns out. No, the gun-free zone is if we catch you with a gun inside a gun-free zone, there will be heavier punishment for that. Why? Because you might use it just like this guy did and kill people on campus. That's why we have the gun-free zone. It's not born of a belief that somehow that people go, oh, gun-free zone, here, let me check my gun at the zone. No, you'll get punished more if we catch you. In this case, we didn't catch the guy. And it's not like the gun-free zone is on an island by itself. It's surrounded by guns all across. And where did this guy get the gun? Well, now we go to the National Review, which is in favor of guns for everybody and doesn't believe in gun control, almost any gun control. But they're accurate here in explaining where it came from. They say, according to the Los Angeles Police Department, the shooter bought a 9mm handgun legally in Minnesota, passing a background check in the process. Then, gun in hand, he killed a woman in that state. And finally, he drove with his guns to California, where he killed both his professor and himself. Okay. So the National Review takes that and ironically goes, well, that's it then. Since he got it legally, there's nothing you can do about it. Congratulations. So, first of all, yes, there are regulations that could have possibly helped in this situation. So, for example, conservatives push for time limits if you're going to have an abortion. What I mean by that is, hey, you have to pause for 24 hours or 48 hours before you have the abortion. Now, in a lot of places, the abortions are done in remote places, so that's a huge burden on the woman to go drive back and forth. When you say, hey, if you're going to buy a gun with which you might either murder someone or actually oftentimes commit suicide, why don't we wait 24 hours? If you wait 24 hours before you have access to a weapon, the number of suicides go down dramatically. You would save thousands of lives if you just had a 24-hour waiting period. In this case, this was a murder and a suicide. But no. He had an instant background check. Yes, he passed it. It's got to be instant. Get him the guns. We got to make money. Gun manufacturers have to make money, okay? So, yes, there is that legislation. And then they will turn around, they ask Obama on social media, they ask me, well, what do you want to do, ban guns? Like, they think that's their winning argument. Like, that's them dropping the mic. Like, even you liberals won't want to ban guns, right? Wrong. So you want to go nuts? Okay. I would ban guns. Oh, yeah, so many other countries have banned guns. You know what happens? They save thousands upon thousands of lives. We lead the world in gun deaths per capita. You know why? Because we lead the world in guns per capita. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. No, but no, I see no evil, I hear no evil, I see no gun, I hear no gun. Yeah, almost all these murders are done with guns. A tiny fraction are done with what? Rope and knives. The overwhelming majority are with guns, and the suicides, by the way, unfortunately, are also with guns. Nope, I don't see the guns. I don't see the guns. It could have been done just as easily without a gun. No, couldn't have. Okay? And so here we go yet again. Now, I told you, look, that it's coming to your neighborhood. 186 school shootings since Sandy Hook. You think like every time it happens near you, people go, oh, I didn't think it was going to happen here. It's going to happen there. Wherever you are, there's going to be a shooting, and it's going to shock you. It shouldn't shock you. We're in an ocean of weaponry. You think there isn't a certain percentage of the country that isn't crazy, politically motivated, religiously motivated? They're all crazy. But for one reason or another, that isn't going to pick up a gun that is so readily available that you can get instantly and use it? Yes, they're going to. A certain percentage of the country is going to do that. So now, look, would I say that nobody in the country is allowed to have guns? No, but I do have a very stringent policy that I would pass, okay? And so again, conservatives, get ready for your head to explode. I know that you think your guns are the most precious thing. Otherwise, how could you prove your manlyhood, right? You should look into that. But I would say, look, you're allowed to have a gun. You're not allowed to have it on you, okay? That's what I mean by banning guns. Your gun could be kept in a locker somewhere. You want to go hunting? I get it, no problem. You go get it from the locker. That is very, that's guarded, obviously, by the government. And then you can go hunting. Oh, the government's going to oppress me. Dude, the government's oppressing you now. What are you going to do, shoot them in the head? What are you going to be like the Bundy guys? They're spying in on you. They've done 100 different abuses. What have you done about it? You usually bow your head and go, oh, man, I want to be safe. I'm going to let the government spy in on me. I'm going to let the government take away my constitutional rights. Oh, but yeah, one day, though, I might shoot him in the head. Oh, that's a brilliant plan. That's great. Really smart. So when you keep talking about how you're going to use it to defend yourself against the government, let's just be clear on what you're saying. You're saying at some point you're ready to murder government officials. So just be clear about what you're saying. What are you going to use the gun? To pet the government officials? To hug the government officials? No, you're going to use them to kill government officials one day, right? That's the right-wing ideology. So, no, I believe in fighting the government, and believe me, on this show, we talk all the time about fighting the government through political means, through democratic means, by the way, through civil disobedience. You don't do it quietly, you do it loudly, but you don't do it with a gun and you don't do it with violence. So yes, you could have access to your weapons. Yes, I would lock them away. And yes, that would save more lives than almost any legislation we can pass. But I know a lot of you are going to disagree and you're going to say, no, I'm happy to have thousands upon thousands of deaths because I want my freedom. You're not part of a well-regulated militia. Read the whole Second Amendment. I know some of you have trouble reading. Read the whole Second Amendment. There's a whole clause saying that it's if you are part of a well-regulated militia, which you most certainly are not. Okay, I know the Supreme Court thought, nah, but I like my guns. I don't want to read the whole Second Amendment. That would be strict constructionist. Oops, that's what we've been arguing for all this time. Yes, there are things you can do to make sure that we're not constantly murdered in our own neighborhoods. And finally, yes, this is my neighborhood. Does this upset me more? I guess in a sense, I was pretty mad yesterday. But if you watch this show, I'm pretty mad after every shooting, after every one of these mass shootings. And unfortunately, they've become so common, we've stopped reporting on an overwhelming majority of them. So it's not just because it happened in my neighborhood. I'm mad when it happens in your neighborhood. And I'm trying to protect you so that it doesn't happen in your neighborhood. A lot of you won't accept that, and you think, oh, that's all right, you just get your own gun. And I asked on Twitter yesterday, what do you want me to do? I would drop off my kids at school, right? And it's right by here. So today they missed me by about an hour, right? I was dropping the kids, about 2 hours. Dropping the kids off around 8 o'clock. The shooting happened around 10 o'clock. Now, I wasn't in that exact place, but easily could have been, right? Very close to where I live. So I asked rhetorically, so what do you want me to do, lock and load before I drop off my kids to elementary school and preschool every day? And of course, the answer was, by a lot of people online, yeah, man, what kind of responsible parent doesn't have a loaded gun next to their kid? I'm trying to save your kids. You got a loaded gun next to your kid. You ever drop off 2 kids at school? You know what happens? Oh, oops, you dropped their lunch. Oh, hey, where are you going? This one's sliding over there, the other one's going over there. And then, oh no, I dropped my gun. Oh, oops. Don't do it. Don't have loaded guns near your kids. That's a bigger danger than terrorists by 1,000 miles. That's a bigger danger than even these mass shooters. Is the gun right next to your kid's head? And I don't want to live in a society where I have to have loaded weapons near my 3-year-old and my 5-year-old because we all have to accept. Like they say, no, there's nothing you can do. What are you going to do? Bang guns? Ha ha! We have 300 million guns in the country, nothing you can do. No, I always believe there's something you can do. And I'm not going to accept it that we're going to continue to have our kids shot on school campuses day after day after day. I don't accept it. So yes, there is something we should do about it. There's a lot we should do about it. And until you do something about it, and until we change the way politics are financed in this country, the gun manufacturers are going to keep buying those politicians, and you're going to have shootings next to you. Don't get surprised. Either you fight back politically, or you bow your head and say, well, me or my family can be shot at any moment. And if you don't realize that's the biggest danger there is to your family, not theoretical terrorism or fights in Libya or Syria or anything else. No, the fight is in your neck of the woods. That's the real danger. So if you don't want to do anything about it and you think that you being able to have a gun so you feel better is more important than the safety of your kids and your family, that's up to you. And I know you'll hate me for it. You'll hate the messenger for it, or the people who are on the opposite side. But I'm not here to hurt you. I know you don't believe it. Oh, no, you're not going to take my gun away. I'm a good guy with a gun. What did you want the professor to do? What did you want his girlfriend to do? Constantly have a gun with them? So you want your professors carrying on weaponry at all times. Hey, Professor Klug, I had a question for you. What? That's the world you want to live in? And the answer for some of you out there is yes. You want to live permanently at the OK Corral, where everybody's got weapons and they're ready to draw them. That world leads to death after death. That's exactly what we saw yesterday, and by the way, exactly what you'll see tomorrow.